Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. We're in the car finally, headed out. We'll see how this goes. We're making adjustments as we speak. You good? And then you have to push that tab down to make it connect. Yeah, and then just hold that and hold this and bend it how you need. Right now, it's just Melanie and Bill and Kayla, so not a lot of judgment going on. So you're good. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, good. Hello, hello. There's Meg and Karen and Bill. Hi, guys. I know you're there, Melanie. I just can't see your sweet face. You're fine. I just, you know what? If I can show you all this, I think we can all be friends forever. You can still love me through. It's pretty bad. So this is the first time I have ever attempted a coaching session while in the car on my laptop attached to a hotspot. So let's pray that this all goes well. Okay. And if somebody wants to unmute and be like the speaker or something, just so I know, because I can't tell. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me and we're all good.
I can hear you, Kim.
I can hear you.
Here you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So I wanted to start out with a couple of questions, and then we're going to end with some really good stuff. I know for sure that Karen and Lisa will be very excited about today. Possibly Jeff. We'll see how many of you all are truly excited when it's over. So I wanted to ask you all, I was reading over my notes from our call with Diana, and she said, what you focus on expands. And so I was thinking about that and what I've been focusing on. So what are some things that you all have been focusing on? Let's just talk about May, okay? What have been, because as things are kind of changing a little bit and we're moving hopefully back in the right direction, what have you all been focusing on?
My attitude.
Perfect. Okay, Karen, your attitude?
Just remembering that this is just a blip in time.
Correct.
Right.
It's a blip in time.
I'm talking like personally too, just like the home life, right? So
For sure. Yep.
It will pass.
Do not call the divorce attorney yet. Just hold out.
Right. Or give my kids away, or no, just kidding.
Yes, hold out.
Yes. And being there for them. So not remembering that they're going through it too. So
right.
Yes, it will pass. Sometimes it's easy to get wrapped up into it, and then you look at the big picture.
So your attitude, what else?
Yep.
I've been focused on DocuSign and Command and getting just learning it and using it and trying to use this time to make sure that I'm, getting good at it.
Good, Melanie. That's very good. And that's a perfect example of just focusing on something that we normally wouldn't focus on, right? Like how are you? Oh, thanks, I got it. Thanks. What else? Knowing that what we're doing today is what's going to set up our next 60 to 90 days.
I've been doing the same thing with DocuSign and Command, and there are some things that I know that are coming in the future. So we're working on getting some things prepared for that now, like client updates that are eventually going to go out via email, like making sure our checklists are ready for that. So I don't know, a lot of like little project-y type things that just have been sitting there trying to tackle a lot of those.
Okay, and are you adding your checklists into Command yet?
We've used them for a while, but Lauren and I are being much more diligent about it since we cut off Brivity.
Yeah.
We use those daily now to
Okay.
send each other things that need to happen in a transaction.
Good. And that way you all can log in and see who's checked off what and what's been done. Good. What else? The question is, what are you focusing on? What have you been focusing on to prepare for the next 60 to 90 days?
Well, Kim, I'm doing bold for the first time, being new to our office.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just by being part of that is kind of a shot in the arm to remember to stay focused. And one of the things they brought up last week was if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And so I think that the thing that's turning me around to try to just plow through this the best that I can is to make sure that I have a real schedule and that I really follow a real schedule, because it takes, I mean, I am a super big squirrel person, and I've got to have it down, and I've got to make sure that I do this with social media at this point, I do this with handwritten notes at this point, and it's got to become what I do to make sure my time is used the best that I need to for myself and for my clients.
Good. And I think that's probably one of the biggest struggles for folks that are staying primarily at home right now, and especially if they have kids there, is how do I stay on a schedule when someone's coming at me 20 times a day, you know, needing something, asking something, or whatever. And I don't know that necessarily we're too late in the process to set some ground rules, or we all have a schedule. I have one, you have one, you know, during this time I have to get this done, and during this time you can be working on this, right? Whatever, but just focusing on being productive. And that does not mean, I've had conversations with some of you all one-on-one, and by no means am I trying to say to you, oh, you need to be productive at all times and you need to get so much done, and if you don't, you're a loser, and because that's not at all what this is intended to be. What I would love to see is for you to use this time to do things that you normally wouldn't do, right? So like what Melanie was saying, digging into DocuSign a little more, just familiarizing yourself with some of the things that are a little more uncomfortable. So one of the other things that she said was a crisis takes us out of the automatic. It kind of gives us a little reset of we have to stop doing everything how we've been doing it and doing it a little differently. So that being said, I feel like we're on the other side of that now, meaning what are some things now that are automatic for you that weren't before? What are some things that you've now incorporated into your schedule or have not incorporated into your schedule that you didn't do before, that you can now see, hey, this is probably going to be a part of my life moving forward, and I just never did it before?
Well, for me, it has nothing to do with business. It has to do with exercise. I kind of got away from it for a bit, and now with my yoga being online, I'm back to 3 morning classes a week, and she has now said she's going to continue with having at least 1 class a week online, and that gives me no excuses. I can fit that in, and I get it done in the morning, and then I have the rest of my day, whatever's on my schedule. So they're also recorded, so if I do have an early morning Zoom or whatever, I can do it later in the day. So I really like that part of it.
And for me, I was having this conversation with my daughter yesterday about self-care has just like fallen by the wayside for me for the last 10 years, easily. You know, I don't have a great skincare regime. I don't take care of I take care of everybody else, and I'm just like whatever leftovers I can scrape up is what I do. And I was talking with Renee Mogan. She's an agent in our office, if you don't know her. And we were kind of going back and forth, and she left me a voicemail and said, hey, I just got out of this appointment, but I'm running to work out. I'll be finished at 11. Call me anytime after that. And it was an issue, like she needed help with something, right? It wasn't something I was supposed to be doing. She needed help with something, and she was still diligent enough to keep that right as part of her schedule. So that was a great example to me, because I would have been like, well, I better drop what I'm doing or change what I'm doing so I can, and that's just, we don't need to do that. Anybody else have anything that's become a little more automatic for you during COVID?
Daily meditation.
Ooh, are you using an app or anything, or are you that good?
Well, I actually went to a TM class, but I use an app right now that is online. It's YouTube. It's Wayne Dyer, and it's 40 minutes of music, but you can break it up in 20-minute segments. It's called I Am, and it's by Wayne Dyer, and it's just meditation music.
Will you type that in the chat, Lisa?
Yeah, sure. As soon as I figure out how to type it in the chat.
Thank you. And the reason I ask is because it's something that I really want to do. I've been working with my coach actually on it because I'm wound very tightly. I know it's a surprise for a lot of you, but I open my eyes up in the morning wound tightly. I lay down at night wound tightly. And I need something to help me refocus or to unwind a little bit. My daughter's over here going like this. I mean, something that will help me to not be like at 110% all the time. And I feel like that will help me a little bit. What's the best benefit that you feel like you're getting?
If I feel really stressed out about something and I just can't, I feel like everybody, it doesn't come one at a time. It comes all at once. And so if I can just take 20 minutes and just zone out for a little bit, I feel 100% calmer. It's, like taking a shot of vodka.
Okay. But no, seriously, it's worth a shot. I have tried several, and I don't have the patience to, after like 2 minutes, I'm like, oh dear God, I can't listen to this.
Yeah, this is a little bit more, just try it. Try it for at least a week.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you for sharing that. So, I really was going through, we had our ALC meeting last week, and I got to hear some feedback on some things that people were going through. And I think ultimately, when I sat down and tried to just break it all down and figure out where everybody was coming from, I just think we're all trying to deal with this in our own way. And so the thought of taking on something new or something that we think is going to cause us more stress is probably the thing that we're pushing away right now. And so I thought, okay, if I can help them with one thing that can help forward, that can help you build your pipeline, that's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for you, what would it be? And I thought, I am going to walk you all through how to do an ad on Facebook. Okay? And this is recorded, so we'll put it on our YouTube channel. And some of you, like I know, Jamie, you're using them pretty well, right? And then who else? I'm trying to look across the screen and see who else is here. So anybody that's using them that has some input, wants to share, what they would or wouldn't do, please feel free to pipe in. So I am going to go ahead and pull this up and share it, and let's see, can everybody see that? Are you looking at, thank you, Jamie. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this from scratch from the very beginning. This is a safe place, so if you need to say, please stop, time out, whoa, go back, what did you just do? Now's the time to do it, okay? So I had a listing that I put on. I put my ad out I created my ad on Saturday. It started yesterday afternoon, and I had 6 leads yesterday. So it works, is all I'm saying. And even if it doesn't work, even if they aren't buying a house tomorrow, right now, what have you, they're going to buy a house eventually. So, okay, so here's what I do. I go into, I'm in Command. Let me start at the home screen just so everybody can see where I go and how I do it and all that jazz. And I just go down here to the little phone that's called Campaigns and give that a click. And if you all are praying, people, please pray that the hotspot continues to work and we don't get cut out of this. Thank you. Okay, and so then I'm just going to go over here to paid ads. There are multiple things you can do. That's just not what we're doing today. Okay, so today we're going to talk about paid ads, and then your screen will open up, and it'll basically show what's going on. Like this is the ad that I just ran. It is 5 days old, or I'm sorry, it's going to run for 5 days. So far, this is what it's costing me per click. And this is what has been charged against my account. So I spent $30 on the ad, and $4.80 of it has been spent so far. Does anybody remember how many ads I said that I had received?
6.
So now it's 7. I'm seeing now it's 7. So yes, thank you for listening. I don't know if that was Melanie or who that was. Thank you. So I'm spending less than $1 per lead right now. So this is, I love that I can track this. I love that I can see where my money's going. It's a little bit different than when you do it through other programs, okay? So one thing to know is once you do an ad and the ad has completed, you can copy that ad. You cannot go back in and see what your settings were for that ad. So my recommendation to you would be, make sure you write everything down that you do the first few times, right? Like when you have an ad that works really, really well, the worst thing ever is to go back in. Even if you try to edit it, it'll allow you to edit the duration and that type of thing, or no, it'll allow you to edit the area. So if I've gone out 20 miles from the listing, and that's what we're going to do today, is just a listing ad, it'll allow you to edit that, but it won't allow you to go in and change any of the other settings like interests, that type of thing. So I'm just going to tell you that in the beginning. So let's just, we're going to do this. I'm going to teach like a kindergarten level course. All right. So sorry if it's boring, but I just want to show you all how I do it. Okay. So I'm going to go up here and click on create a new campaign. And you have all of these different things to choose from. Today we're doing the social ad paid. And I'm actually going to call this one 121 North South Drive, because this is my house that actually just went on the market. Normally I would call this test. If you're playing around, call it test. I don't care what you call it. Now, you have all of these different things that you can choose from. And everyone that I have spoken to so far, the best thing to choose here is going to be that you want to attract buyers. Okay, we know you're wanting to advertise your listing, you're hoping to get other listings, but to me, you're going to kill more birds with less stones if you choose attract buyers, because most buyers are going to have a property to sell. Okay, so we're going with attract buyers. Scroll down here to the bottom. Today I'm just doing Facebook. I'm not doing anything on Instagram or Twitter yet. And set up the campaign. Now the fun begins. Anybody lost yet? I can't see you all, by the way, so if you're just giving me a thumbs up, I can't see it. I have it minimized so that I can see my screen where I'm working. Everybody good? Just somebody say yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now I'm going to go to add a listing. Now this is, I was working with Meg the other day on this, and she said my listing isn't showing up because if I just typed it in up here, it's not going to, obviously I did one on my house because that's my old address. Come over here where it says only my listings and just select all listings. Even if it's your listing, just go ahead and select all listings, okay? So I'm going to do 121 North South Drive, see if it pops up. Again, we are, let's pray to the hotspot gods, Tower Lakes. Still not popping up. I'm not even getting a little windy thing. Come on, let's search. Okay, so I had to click search. Sometimes if you type it in, it'll go ahead and pop up, but I didn't have great, whatever, so there we go. So I'm gonna hit select, and my house.
Hey, Kim.
Yes.
Hey, I'm sorry. So I'm going along with you. I have one that I'm using, but it's in contract. Does it have to be an active property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, in order for you to run an ad that's just a listing ad, yes, it does have to be an active property.
Okay,
So
thank
if
you.
you wanted to do like a social media post or something like that, you could do it a little bit differently. But yeah, in order to pull it, it has to be. So,
Okay.
okay. So I don't like all of this. It's a lot of wording. All that's done is it's pulled directly from the MLS, what my realtor put in there. Okay. So, so we're going to keep that. We're going to go down here and make some changes right here, right? Move-in ready, attend Barrington High School, completely updated, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to maybe say move-in ready, attend Barrington High School, which is like the school up here. So I'm leaving that, okay? Now, I don't know, Facebook may kick me out. Has anybody had that happen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to take, I think this is redundant because she said completely updated spacious ranch. So I'm just going to say spacious ranch, walkout basement, in Tower Lakes. And I'm going to change this to like enjoy private lake life. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Now, and I'm just going to take all that stuff out because it's just too much. Nobody's going to read all that. So what I do is I like to go in when it says 4 bedrooms, I take out bedrooms and I put in the bed emoji, which sounds up there, see, because I use it all the time. And it always will put it there at the end like that. I don't know why. Just take it out and move it where you want it. Okay. So I think the biggest thing is people are worried they're going to break something and they're not. And 2 full baths, and I guess they're assuming they're both full, so I'm taking all that out, and I'm going to put in shower. There it is. And you have to cut and paste it. That's just one of the fun little things. Also, I get like very car sick, so the fact that I'm doing this, I hope you all know how much I love you. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm just leaving that for right now. Okay, probably put something, but you do whatever you'd like there. And so maybe here is where I would put Lake Life and Lake County taxes, something like that. That's a huge thing here. Just whatever. So as I'm creating the ad, over here, I can see what it looks like as I'm working on it, okay? So you can preview everything that's going on. And so over here, as I'm saying whatever I want to say, you can type in your description. Again, I would just say something like, don't miss this one. So my opinion, the fewer words, the better, okay? Anybody have any comments on that one?
Nope.
Anything you like to put in there? And that's it. So this right here, they really mean this. When it says misleading, yada, 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 like if you say something like the best deal for your money or whatever, it'll kick it out. So you'll still have to get approval through Facebook. And so then I'm going to go to the configure piece for the Facebook ad. Kim Buckner. I do Southern Spaces because that's the account that I have attached with my ads. So here is the mega piece right here. If you are creating an ad to get leads, and just make sure you do the Facebook lead generation form. So I feel like most people, this is where the disconnect happens. So when people say to me, I spent $50 on a lead and I didn't get anything, they have set it up wrong. I personally think it's impossible to spend $50 and not get one lead. Like you all can see, I just spent $5 and got 7. So I think it's really hard. So just, if you ever have a question about that, please call me. But make sure that's the biggest thing. Click on the Facebook lead generation form. The call to action label, you can choose from 3 different things here. I always just leave it on learn more. because that's what's going to show up down here. I don't know why it's not moving for me, but again, oh, here we go. There we go. That's the little button that's going to pop up right here for what you want them to select. Okay. So for your follow-up destination URL, that is going to be your website. So whatever you have connected in Command as your website. So for instance, mine is chemsalesky.com. And sometimes when you type that in here, it will say that's not an active domain. Okay, you took it. No, okay, it's not taken. There we go. So then what you'll have to do is go up, open up the tab, open up your website. Oh shoot, something's wrong. Well, I'm hoping it's not my internet. But anyway, oh, and then all these lovely little things pop up. Okay. So essentially what you have to do to make this part work and make them take it is you have to go to your website, click on, copy the URL, and then copy it and paste it into this box. I don't know why, but that's what works for me. When you do that, you're going to have two sets of the HTTPS, this right here. You just make sure you delete one of them. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? I hate that I can't see you all. Let me make this.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, Jamie, do you ever have that problem when you do it?
I was actually, I think Lauren, she runs our ads pretty exclusively, but I think she's been taking them to a landing page, and she might be on here to unmute and say if that's true. Lauren, are you here? We either use our website or she creates a landing page. I don't know if she has that link. She'll have to check with her.
Wait, here's my website. Okay, so the reason that I said I had to go there, okay, never mind. Here's why. Let me show you what just happened. So do you see how mychemsalesky.com, that's my actual domain. That's the one that I paid for, and that's what's connected in Command. When I type that in, KW redirects it to this, chemsalesky.kw.com. So this is why you have to go in and copy and paste your actual URL. Thank goodness I had that up. And I think this was the tab, yeah. And then you right click it and paste it in there. See how you end up with two of the HTTPSs? And you just delete one. I mean, I'm seriously gonna throw up. No, it's okay. We literally have the worst roads here in the entire country. So you can see the bouncing screen. That's what's going down. Yeah. Okay. So then we should be good. Let's see if it lets me do it. Bam. There we go. So these are the little snafus that you're going to run into. And that's why I just wanted to kind of go through it with you. So you can see it and see that there are snafus, and you just work through them and keep on going. You don't quit. You don't cuss or throw the computer or any of that stuff. Not that I haven't.
We do those things sometimes. It makes it work better.
Seriously, yeah. But I mean, it's just good to know. Those are the things that happen. But so there you go. Just so you know, that's where you get your destination URL. So that has to be connected. You have to have your website set up and all of that done through Command for this to work. Okay. So now we're going to move on down to the next section. That's ad targeting. I always do custom settings, so that's why I have that little tab on right here. Yours may not be on the first time that you go in there, but I keep that on. And then I'm going to target a custom audience. If I were creating an ad for like an event or something I just wanted people in my database to see, then I may do that. But right now, I'm spreading a big net. Okay, so the selection is going to be the location. This is the closest one that they have to my house, so that's what I'm picking. And I do within 20 miles. When I'm in Kentucky, I do within 20 miles. For where we are now, I'm probably going to do 30, maybe even 40 miles, because let's do 35. Just because we're really spread out. It's big. I would never go, I probably wouldn't do anything like 50 miles or above there. So Lauren, if you want to type in the chat, or anybody that's used to doing ads, if you want to type in the chat, what you usually do is your radius. I just don't normally go very far out on that. And so then for targeting. So this is huge right here, you all. We're going to add or change interests. So what people will tell you is if you're creating an ad, if you've done it correctly, you'll never be able to see it. Like when you're on Facebook, you should never be able to see your own ad. So a couple of weeks ago, I did an ad and I was on Facebook a couple days later and I saw my ad. And I was like, how in the world am I seeing my ad? And it was because I had been on realtor.com looking at houses. So when you create your targeting here and you want to select your interests, I always select the top ones. I do Zillow. So this is going to attract anyone that's been looking on Zillow. That's the algorithm that it uses. And I select it, okay? This can be or, it can be and. I'd leave it at or. Don't mess with it, okay? Because if you do and you select 10 things, that person has to have looked at all 10 of those things for you to snatch them. All right, so leave this on or, okay? So I've selected Zillow. I'm gonna do realtor.com. I'm gonna do homes.com. You get the idea. So all the big ones where anybody that's looking for a house, where they would look. So, you know, maybe Trulia, you know, whatever. So, but these are the ones that I always pick, the top ones. Then I do first time, depending on the house. So this house, I probably wouldn't do first time home buyers. The last house that I put on was like less than 200,000. So I typed in real estate investors. I typed in first time home buyers and I chose those interests. So I'm going to type in mortgage. So anyone that's looked up an online mortgage calculator or mortgage interest rates. So here I'm going to do loans, broker, calculator, and that's probably it. You can select whatever you like, but those are the only ones that I'm going to select. Anybody else have anything that they use as an interest? It's okay. We'll get out of it soon. Those are the ones that I do every single time, no matter what the property is. If it's a lower price point or a higher price point, those are the ones I do every single time. I actually have a little Word document that I have that has all of my interests typed out on it. I open it up so that it's like literally right here in my window and I can just read off of it as I'm selecting all these things. And then that's it. Then you can come down here and see which ones you've actually chosen. And then I'm gonna save that part. And then I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna choose my duration and budget. So I work off of 5 and 7. I either do 5 days at $7 a day or I do 7 days at $5 a day. So for instance, the property that was under $200, I knew that house wasn't gonna last a week. So I'd put that on a 5-day deal. My house in Illinois, I'm going to do that one on for 7 days. So for this budget, I mean, you can leave it. It's really however you want to do it, but I would probably up this. Let's see. Keep in mind that today is the 18th. So if I create this ad today, it's not going to run until tomorrow. So you're never going to be able to pop on there in the morning and create an ad that's going to come up that day. So just know that if you absolutely have to have an ad running tomorrow, you better get it done today because they have to have 24 hours notice. Normally it gets done quicker than that, but for Facebook to approve your ad, okay? So if we're gonna start this tomorrow, and I am gonna say that I'm just gonna do it tomorrow, and I'm gonna run this through let's just say next Monday. And so 7 days, well, and then just save your duration budget. Now, make sure, let me minimize this again. Make sure you come over here and look at that and see what it looks like and make sure that you're happy with it. Because once you do this and you submit it, You can't go back and make any edits to this. Okay. Now, if I love this ad and I wanted to run it again, like let's just say I do it for 5 weeks, for 5 days, and my house is still in the market, I can run the ad again. I can run the exact same ad again. There's an option on there for you to do that. But then, so we're done. That's it. And then I would go ahead and hit publish campaign. I have my card already set up in there. I'm going to save this as a draft because I'm probably going to come back to it a little bit later on. You will get an email from KW that says your card has been charged X amount. That's how you'll know the ad has been approved and it's ready to go. But I love them. For me, it's a great filler. Then probably the next step that I would take you all through would be what the follow-up campaign looks like, because these are people now that have to go on some type of a drip. Because if I get 50 leads, all 50 people aren't going to buy a house, within the next 30 days. So you want to make sure that you're following up with them, that you're touching them. Otherwise, you're doing all this for nothing. What are your questions?
So Kim, can you tell us? Yeah, that was very helpful.
Okay, good.
Can you tell us what you do in terms, or maybe next class, do the follow-up thing?
Yeah, we'll do a whole
mine,
separate thing on follow-up. I did actually post the Facebook ads follow-up campaign. I posted that in our Facebook group. So it's in the documents there. If you want to see that.
I do. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. But I mean, that's the key to it is, to use that as the follow-up. I would invite those people. If you're doing events or whatever, they're going to get invited just like everybody else. And then, yeah, they definitely are going to go on a touch campaign, and they're going to get, at the very least, I'm putting them on a neighborhood touch for the neighborhood of this house that they clicked on. And then, is everybody clear that the way the Facebook ads work through command is when someone just clicks on your ad, you get their email address, phone number, and name. So you're not getting Charlie Brown 222-222, whatever, right? You're getting true contact info.
And then also for payments, Kim, do we have to set that up ahead of time?
What now?
For payment?
Yes.
Do we set that up ahead of time? Can we set that up in settings somewhere?
Yes, and you can go ahead and do that ad, and then at the end, when you hit publish, it's going to pop up your card. Like some people put multiple cards in there. So when it does that, you could just go ahead and enter your payment then.
Okay, thanks.
One more question. Do you remember how you filled out the people, anybody who clicks on Zillow, Realtor.com? Can you also target market RE/MAX?
I'm sure you could. Let's go in there and see. Has anybody ever done that before I lie to her?
We've not.
Just a thought. Might as well take their clients.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if anybody went in there and said,
or HomeSnap or any of those other sites that you look on.
I guess Gary didn't let that happen.
Try the Reigns group.
Yeah, it doesn't have RE/MAX.
All right.
The Reigns group won't be in there because these are all settings that Keller Williams has put in.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Back up, buddy. I'm teaching a class and my kid's driving. Come on, man. I mean, he's smelling what we had for lunch. He's right on us. Okay, so no, we can't choose those. It was worth looking at to see. What else? I'm we're just going to walk through it because I don't know how else to help people to feel a little more comfortable with it. You're not going to break it. You're not going to, it's literally the worst thing that you can happen is hey, let me just try to waste. Also, I've never spent less than $30. I don't know if that matters, whatever, but if you're wanting to know what I've done to get the leads I've gotten, that's just one of the things. So the worst case scenario is you blew $30, and I'm pretty sure you've blown $30 on something worse. But the only way you're going to blow it is if somebody clicks on it. So if you spend $30 on that ad and no one looks at it and no one clicks on it, your money is still there. So who is on here?
Say that again. Say that again.
If you do an ad, right? Like if I had created this ad and I put $30 on it, let me move this so I can show you what I'm talking about. So for instance, this ad right here, Shiretown Road, I have gotten 67 clicks and they've charged me 7 cents per click. And I have gotten 7 leads at 70 cents per lead, basically. So I've spent $4.87. If no one had clicked on any of these things and all these were zeros, my money is still in my account. They don't just like take your money for an ad that no one ever clicked on.
Oh. Well,
See?
that's nice.
Do it, people, do it, do it. It's like, she's crazy. I am crazy, but I know that it works. And it's one of those things that I feel like people just don't do because it's intimidating when you don't really know how to do it or how it works. And I mean, literally the other night, Meg called me or texted me and she said, "Are you on here? I can't see." And she was doing an ad and she just said, "Okay, I need some help. Do I click this or do I click that?" And I was like, "Give me 5 minutes and I'll call you." And we just zoomed through it and I shared my screen and showed her how to do it. So if it's going to be something I can do to help you all make money, I'm going to do it. You're not putting me out in 10 minutes. Okay. So
I just want to say something about the leads that you receive from your ads.
yes.
So we have successfully ran a whole bunch of ads and have a whole heck of a lot of leads as a result of running campaigns. But just be prepared and have a plan for follow-up with those leads, because you could pay for all these leads all day long, but if you're not going to follow up with them, you're just wasting your money.
Right. That's what we were just saying.
Okay, I had to step away for a call. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's perfect. That's exactly, I'm glad to hear that because they know I wasn't lying to them.
Oh, okay, great.
No, so carry on. What are you?
I'm sorry, what was that, Kim? You broke up a little bit.
What are you doing for follow-up?
Okay, so we started using Nick Baldwin has a kind of a generic Facebook follow-up plan. If you're in any of the groups, you've probably seen it. We started using that, but then really updated it based on some feedback that I got in webinars that I was attending when COVID all started. There was some really great advice in there about soliciting feedback for your sellers versus trying to get the buyer but selling your listing. So we changed some of our verbiage to reflect that. We are using Twilio to help with it, and of course, like the command emails go out. But we have a phone call built in. We've gotten some response. Some have been, this is incorrect information. Some people are really pleasant about it. Some people aren't. But we did get somebody to reply to a Keller Mortgage text asking for more information. But it's just to be aware that there's a lot of follow-up with these leads. You might get lucky and get one that bam wants to do something, but just make sure you have a good long-term follow-up plan in place. That's probably longer than just the Facebook plan.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Your assignment, was this at least helpful? Like something? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So your assignment this week, run a Facebook ad. If you don't have a listing, ask someone in the office if you can run an ad on their listing. I don't care. Just do a Facebook ad on a listing and see how it works for you. And if you freak out and get scared, call me and I'll help you work through it. All right, we good?
Thank
Perfect.
you.
You are more than welcome. Go work on your ads.
Thanks, Kim.
Bye.
Bye, guys. You all have a great day.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you, sweetie.